Title: The White Wizard's Wild Wedding. Part 1. The Departure of Gandalf. It was a time of grave peril and shadow in Middle-earth, when the Fellowship had only just begun its perilous journey. The air was thick with fate. Yet deep in the wilds of Rohan, Gandalf the Grey, freshly resurrected as Gandalf the White, was experiencing a dilemma of the heart. The party had just exited Lothlorien, resting beside the murmuring banks of the Anduin. Frodo polished Sting with trembling hands. Aragorn sharpened Andúril. Legolas kept watch. Gandalf, however, was hunched over a weathered letter written on goblin-hide parchment, his brow furrowed not with a concern for Mordor, but with love. The letter was signed, Urgla, Chief Huntress of the Ironfoot Claw. She was an orc of the Misty Mountains, one who had briefly crossed paths with Gandalf decades ago during a skirmish that ended with neither side victorious, but both sides deeply intrigued. In secret correspondence over the years, what began as a bitter rivalry blossomed into a bizarre poetic infatuation. Now, Urgla beckoned him to a union. Her clan had agreed to a rare marriage between orc and wizard, a diplomatic and romantic miracle. "I must leave," Gandalf announced one morning, just as the Fellowship prepared to cross the Emyn Muil. "You must what?" Aragorn asked, blinking in disbelief. "My heart is elsewhere," Gandalf replied, gazing dramatically into the east. "I go to fulfill a vow older than Isildur's line. Take care of the hobbits." And with a flash of light and the scent of singed goat hair, he was gone. Part 2. Into the Orcish wilds. Gandalf rode upon Shadowfax, whispering words of love and diplomacy. The lands grew wilder as he traveled north toward the Misty Mountains. Goblins ambushed him near the Etten Moors, but upon hearing the name Urgla, they bowed, bemused, and vaguely impressed. The Ironfoot Claw tribe was a reclusive orcish clan known for eating dwarves and writing tragic poetry. Their lair was an obsidian fortress carved into the stone veins of the mountain. Gandalf entered unarmed, bearing only a staff and a bouquet of fire lilies. Urgla met him atop a jagged peak, adorned in ceremonial bone mail and warg pelts. She was taller than he remembered, with tusks polished to a shine and hair woven with the teeth of her enemies. "You came," she said, sniffing him. "I always do," Gandalf replied, unbuttoning the top of his robe. Their reunion was passionate and violent. Local wargs howled. The mountains trembled. A goblin minstrel wrote a ballad that was later banned in 3 kingdoms. The wedding was set for the coming solstice, under the blood moon. Part 3. The Diplomacy of Love. Not all orcs were pleased. Urgla's cousin, Scrog the Blade Fondler, opposed the union. "No elf friend shall lay with our kind," he spat in the war council. Gandalf stood tall. "I am no friend to elves this season. I am Urgla's intended, and I bring magic, trade routes, and second breakfast." This intrigued the orcs, who had long suffered indigestion from their raw diets. With magic-enhanced feasts and glowing runes for mood lighting, Gandalf began winning them over. Even Scrog grew fond of honey-roasted cave bats. He taught them how to make s'mores. Still, whispers of betrayal echoed across Middle-earth. The Fellowship was in disarray. Frodo, heartbroken and confused, carried the ring toward doom, wondering if Gandalf had truly turned. Part 4. Rings and Regrets. Gandalf sat with Urgla on a cliff edge, watching fell spirits swirl through the night. "Should we invite the Fellowship?" she asked, sipping fermented warg's milk. He hesitated. "I fear they'd object. Aragorn especially. He's very traditional." Urgla sighed. "Then let them be. We shall bind our fates beneath the red moon and Middle-earth can take care of itself for once. But something gnawed at Gandalf. Visions in the smoke, Frodo weeping, the eye growing ever watchful. A raven arrived one morning, carrying a letter in Samwise's careful hand. "Dear Mr. Gandalf, hope you're well. We're being hunted by ringwraiths, and Mr. Frodo's not doing great. Miss your fireworks. Love." Sam Gandalf clutched the letter and stared long into the coals. Part 5. The Wedding and the War Cry. The solstice came. Orcs gathered in tribal finery. The goblin minstrel performed a raucous lute solo. Urgla stood atop a dais of bones. Gandalf approached, robed in shimmering mithril and clutching a bouquet of ashwood roses. "I, Gandalf the White, take you, Urgla the huntress, to be my lawful blood-bound—" A thunderclap cut through the air. A flaming eagle descended, bearing Radagast. "You can't do this!" Radagast yelled. "You're needed in the east." "I'm needed here!" Gandalf roared. Radagast tossed down a mirror of Galadriel. It showed Frodo on the brink of collapse, Gollum leading him astray. Urgla frowned. "You must go." Gandalf faltered. "Middle-earth comes first," she said. They kissed. A brief, burning kiss that singed nearby goblins. Then Gandalf mounted Shadowfax once more. Part 6. Return of the Wizard. He arrived in the nick of time. Atop a Mon Hen, he struck down wraiths and rallied the Rohirrim. The Fellowship never spoke of his absence, but sometimes, on quiet nights, Gandalf would stare into the fire, smile faintly, and hum a forbidden Orcish love ballad. And in the Misty Mountains, Urgla still howled beneath the moon. Her tusks catch the light, her heart tethered to a wizard's echo. The end.